Oh. Looks like we've got ourselves a cat. This was not part of the plan, buddy. Alright guys, well, today's a good day. Some things arrived and we're gonna get in the workshop and fit it. Today's a good day because what's arrived is the light's a bit bad, isn't it? Is the new or replacement throttle for the Ducati, for the Hypermotard. So that it's the second time it's had to be replaced. The first time it was under warranty, now it's not under warranty. And this time they actually explained that you need to put grease inside it where there's like a magnet that moves under some sensors, and if that's not greased, it starts to rust and corrode. And that's what's happened. But they didn't tell me that before, and I didn't want to take it apart because it's an electronic gizmo, you know what I mean? Anyway, new one's here. It's in a box. Let's have a look at it. Here we are. Okay. Very nicely though, for the huge amount of money they sell this stuff for, they did give me a left-hand grip as well. So, wow. I'm not even going to tell you how much this is because my wife will see and she'll get really angry with me. So, it's yeah, more than you would think something like that should cost. Let's put it that way. Anyway, okay, let's get started. It's the 111 cat. Yeah. What are we going to call you? Greaseball. No? Spanner. Okay? Spanner the cat. Alright, so the light's still coming on. It still says there's an engine error. The throttle response is better, so I think that's the throttle part fixed, but it's still doing this same stupid sort of stumbling misfire in every gear, 5,800 RPM to 6,000 RPM. Above and below that seems to run good. And the guy in Phuket says, oh yeah, maybe you need to reset it with the computer. I said, okay, can I do that with my computer? He said, no, probably not. I said, so I need to go all the way back to Phuket, even though he sent the part here to make it easier so I could fit it here, but I've got to go out there anyway to reset it, which sounds a bit weird. Can't find much out on the internet about how to do it either. But I am going to try something. And here is a diagnostic connector. USB thingy-bob, whatever you call it, ELM something, something, something. And here is something called JP Diag, which is apparently Ducati Diagnostic stuff, but somebody's homemade version. So we'll give it a go, see if we can get it connected. All right, back from Phuket, and the bike is fixed. It's running great. I went to Phuket. Actually, nobody in Phuket actually did anything to the bike because they weren't available when I got there. So what I've done is I sat in a bar and remembered that I have this thing, which is called an UpMap T800. It's made by Termignoni and it plugs straight into the ECU on the bike, and you're supposed to be able to put maps and fiddle around with stuff and whatever and all of that jazz from your phone using Bluetooth. Never used it before because there weren't any maps ready for this bike, or it wasn't supported for this bike yet. So when I got it, it's just been sat there. In the meantime, I got the Rapid Bike Evo and just used that to modify the mapping for the fuel on the bike. But I've always thought this bike runs bad because of the O2 sensors, and here they are. So normally when the O2 sensor goes, and it's gone several times before, it's normally the rear one, they burn out. I think it's because it's too close to, too close to the rear cylinder on the exhaust, so it gets too hot. But the whole system, fueling system as stock for this bike, I'm sure it runs way too lean. As many modern bikes, it's trying to conform to a lot of very tight regulations. And as soon as you put the slip-on can on or modify it at all, it just upsets it. But if you unplug them, you get an error code. The bike will run fine. In fact, it runs richer because it's sort of fail-safe. It runs in, I can't remember, closed loop or open loop, one or the other. Technical fuel injection nonsense. Anyway, the UpMap allows you to turn off the O2 sensors, so they're just not used anymore. So I've been able to remove them completely, fill the holes in the exhaust where they were with bolts. That's the water pump. And now it just runs like an absolute train. And it also means you can put the map on, which is actually a race map, and it changes your dash and everything, so you get Hypermotard racing, which is awesome. And it's a whole new bike. Riding back, it's just like it's like having a new bike. So all I've got to do is make some little electrical covers for where the sensors used to plug in. Can throw them in the bin. I'm not throwing this in the bin. This is awesome. Keeping that. So yeah, my verdict is, with the Hypermotard, I don't think the Rapid Bike Evo is a bad thing. But if I had a choice between the two, I think I would go with the T800. It's easier to use for most people, and you use it with your smartphone, and it's not something you actually have to wire into the bike. It just plugs into the ECU and does its thing. The Rapid Bike Evo is great. It is great, but as far as I can tell, I may be wrong, but I couldn't find a way to disable the O2 sensor part of the fuel injection system using only the Rapid Bike. So yeah, my 2 cents worth. But that's fixed this bike. This is how it should have been when they made it. I'm sure it's what they had in mind. But, it's only taken 3 years. Woohoo!